everyone. King Spike Oreo. They have three really hard skins. Like, we just.
Hello everyone and welcome again to EGF Season 3 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And for our competitors today, right now we have as our first match of the day on this stream, Siena College versus Niagara University.
Yep, and Niagara, I believe, is still looking to find their first win, but hopefully that will happen against Siena College for them. Although Siena's not going to make it easy for them as they have been on a hot 2-0 start of the season. So I believe their first win was, let me see. So last week they beat Rider University in an exciting 10 well, that doesn't look like they beat Rider University. It said 10-0, but I think that's a little bit different because 10 point. I don't know the exact situation there, but their first win was against Canisius College. I believe I pronounced that right, and that was a whopping 22-3 victory over them. So they are looking to explode in this game, and Niagara is going to be up for a tall task here.
Absolutely, and it looks like Siena did send out Bivers, who is a Falco main, and Falco is one of those characters that really likes getting those huge long combos. People like calling them cutscene combos, and K-Rool is a bit of a big body, so that does mean that those combos are going to be lasting even longer against K-Rool, which could be a bit of a rough situation, but on the other hand, K-Rool does have a lot of kill power, so that damage getting racked up could build up a lot of rage and make it so K-Rool actually just like explodes Falco in a second.
Exactly, and I'll tell you what, Falco, what's really dangerous about him, he's got one of the best aerial games in terms of movesets. The side air we've seen a couple times already in this matchup, and then also the up air, which is super, super lethal. He's just got he is a bird, so he owns the skies, basically.
Yes, absolutely. He loves those forward airs, using them a lot of the time in drag down combos or as a combo ender. Ooh! Ooh! That down smash, that was beautiful.
Just did the splits on him.
Yes, and that's a very good option coverage move, especially because it covers both of your sides. So if you think your opponent might roll behind you or spot dodge, you could just down smash, charge it, down smash, and you can cover both directions pretty well.
Exactly, and he also has the legendary up tilt attack, which is very, very lethal in terms of juggling. K-Rool's gonna just belly flop him out of that stage, and now we're down to a goose egg and 39.3. So looks like Niagara's putting up a good solid fight here in this first match.
For sure, Niagara is definitely trying it to take this game at least, because you want to start off with some good momentum. Like that's another thing. But that was actually really close because when you get spiked in this game, the blast zone on the bottom actually raises up, so it's easier to die by spiking than normal.
Yeah, and K-Rool's got a really, really lethal recovery. I mean, it just can travel all the way from the bottom back up to the stage, and then also if you try to punish him, he's got those propellers ready to make something happen and make you pay for that.
For sure, and speaking of making someone pay for that, K-Rool is definitely in a situation where Boshi Koopa could make Bivers pay for dealing all that damage because this is max rage right now. Once you hit 150%, okay, never mind. But once you hit 150, you are doing the most knockback you will because you get a significant knockback multiplier.
Exactly, and Bivers very well aware of that knockback multiplier as he just comboed with his side special. Oh my goodness, that's a flashy spike. Not gonna work though, because once again that recovery is just too excellent. One thing we haven't seen yet from Bivers is his down B special, the what's it called, the reflector. Would really work against that the K-Rool's crown, acting as like a really powerful boomerang. Also, you could just grab the crown. That's going to help you a lot. going up against
That's
K.
true. In fact, I love that you mentioned the side B from K. Rool, the crown, because a lot of the time that's not actually used for the projectile itself. It's used for that landing option because it gives you good armor so that even if your opponent hits you with attacks, there's a good chance that you'll just go right through it. Ooh,
Speaking of going, speaking of going right through, just
Yeah.
just plunge your wing into K. Rool's body armor, and Falco's gonna take this first win for Siena.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Boshikupa did manage to take that second stock because that was important. You don't want to end the first game on getting 2 stocked in general because that would mean that it really builds up the lead your opponent team gets to accumulate over time.
Exactly. So it was a great first win for Bivers here, as we are, I believe it should be 1-0 instead of 2-2 as the screen said earlier, but it was just an amazing showing. This was a really good fight for both players because, you know, K. Rool's just one of those thick boys that's really hard to kill, but at the same time, Falco's just got one of those underrated move sets where, you know, you could just use all the aerial attacks, the up tilt, and that was the up smash right there that
Yes.
closed out that game right there, and that's very lethal too.
I really like the usage of the up smash there at ledge because it speaks so much confidence there, saying from Bivers, I know that you are going to neutral get up. And this is a move that is very active. Its hitbox is out there for a very long time. And because of that, that means that it doesn't really mean that it doesn't really matter how you time it, as long as you get it within like half a second of like, you know, which is sometimes that seems like it's not very much, but like in Smash Bros, half a second is quite a lot in terms of like how long a move can last. So it's definitely a very good option for catching those neutral get-ups. And it helped right there to take the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. So let me take a look at the chat, what's going on right now to see some sort of bans were going on. It looks like Siena has banned Kalos, FD, and Lilacs. And it looks like the place is going to be TNC. That's Town and City, for those who don't know what that means. I assume that's what it means, but we will find out right now. We're running
Town
it
and
back.
City.
Yep, running it back with the same characters. Siena up 1, Niagara down 0. Bashikupa versus Bivers round 2. Can Bivers close it out right here, or can Bashikupa live to fight another day?
And I'm interested about this stage pick because this is a stage that has a very tall ceiling, so that does mean that it will be harder to kill off the top. Maybe Boshikupa was really thinking about that up smash kill. Maybe that wouldn't have ended the game there on this stage, but on the other hand, the sides are very short, so if you get hit with like a back air off the side, you could just die right there.
Exactly. Although, once again, the recovery for King K. Rool, it's a pretty decent. His his horizontal's pretty decent if you just use the up special that he used. Oh my goodness, that almost was bad for both players. Looked like they were about to get KO'd there. So now Falco's gonna have a little bit stronger, a little bit more time of a struggle with his horizontal recovery as he loses that first stock right there. He's got the light dash that helps, and then you can transition into the Firebird. I think that's, yeah, Firebird. So that's going to be a little bit difficult, but he is kind of floaty, so he has some advantage, and I'm not quite sure what happened with Bashikupa on that one.
I think what had happened was that Bivers had sniped Bashikupa's jump there with the laser. You saw how he went for the laser?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, that was a panic option right there. Bashikupa is rattled right now. Like, you could definitely sort of see that mentality of the players once they start going for some specific options. You know, like, say, maybe if they just start throwing out smash attack, or if they just up B, not even out of shield, just up B, it's a sign that they really just want you to get away from them as soon as possible.
Yeah, now Bivers has his crown, so he's going to be playing with that as much as he can, and that's kind of one of your worst nightmares if you're King K. Rool. You have to defend against your own attack. That's just not a fun time.
And the crown being like gone is not just scary for that reason. It's also scary because that means that you lose one of your best landing options in general.
Good point. So still 2-2. Bashakupa sitting at 133 while Bivers comfortable at 64. And now it's gonna be a deadly, deadly side smash attack. And now it's 1 stock to 2.
Okay, that up B right there, I think, solidifies that Bashakupa is definitely playing a bit more scared right now, which is not what you want, especially in this game, because it's looking like it is some good trajectory for a 2 stock if Bivers can just clear this out, you know, deal with this last stock right here in just a matter of like a minute or 2.
Exactly. And we saw a little bit earlier, Bivers tried to go for an aerial combo. Oh my goodness. Once again, it is your worst nightmare getting the crown taken away from you, but so was that stock. And Siena called like this first match here, and just a great fight from both fighters though.
At the end there, though, you could really see that Bivers was starting to get a very solid understanding of how Bashakupa was thinking. And that's really like a big thing in Super Smash Bros. And in fighting games in general. The last thing you want is for, like, I like to say the best option is whatever your opponent does not predict. And in this case, Bashakupa was predicting so many options.
Exactly. He was, he tried to do a little bit too much in some instances, and that just allowed Bivers to get some openings. And that, especially that move right there, what a way to end it. That's just dirty. Taking
exactly.
Taking the crown from the king, chucking it back at him.
K-Rool's recovery is very good vertically, but even though it's very difficult to spike it, if you can stage spike and go for those tech check scenarios where you have to go, okay, do you know how to tech? It really becomes like a very fatal flaw if you don't know how to tech, because then it just opens up an entire layer of edge guarding for your opponent.
Exactly. The vertical, like you said earlier, is a great, just a great tool for King K. Rool. And I said in the last match, the horizontal, it's not bad, but it's it's not as good as the vertical. Like he doesn't have too much horizontal recovery, while Falco has all the a pretty good horizontal recovery, just going with the light dash Firebird. Now coming up next, Siena's gonna bring in Lax or LAX, one of the two, and then Crispy's coming in for Niagara. So we'll see who these two guys main real quick. It looks like Siena. Lax is a Fox main, so we'll get the whole Star Fox duo coming in, and then for Niagara, it looks like Crispy mains. No idea.
Well, just looking, there's a lot, looking at Smash data and PG stats, there's a lot of players named Crispy. So this is a bit tougher to see.
Maybe Corrin. Maybe Corrin. I don't know. Who likes to main Corrin these days? But
that's true. Corrin's a very uncommon character nowadays.
We have seen him a couple times. He did beat Mute Ace, I was just informed, this weekend. So, there's a few of those Corrin mains that are, they're not to be messed around with. So let's just put it like that.
That's true. You can't mess around with any characters in this game, because one of the big things, unfamiliarity. And because Corrin's such an uncommon character, unfamiliarity is one of your greatest assets. If your opponent does not know what your game plan is, you can just sort of play with them. Like, you could just sort of manhandle your opponent at all times.
Exactly. And it just, with Corrin being one of the most underplayed characters in the entire game, a lot of people just have no idea what to expect from him or her, because you can pick either the male or female character.
Yep.
And it looks like Town and City is going to be the stage once again. So the bands were Smashville and Battlefield. as well as Final Destination, and Niagara chose Town and City, so we will see that stage once again.
I'm interested to see why Smashville was banned, because if LAX is a Fox main, that's a stage that I've seen quite a few Fox players really like going to, because it's very small, and it really helps with that rush down play style. Especially because Town and City is a very tall stage. Maybe thinking, okay, light one SmashCon with Fox and won some of those games on Town and City, so maybe I can too.
Yeah, and maybe he wants to save Smashville for the next game, and it looks like it's going to be Ike instead of Corrin. Probably a more respectable pick. But maybe for the next game, he wants to go to Smashville to play a little better. But we'll see after this match.
Yes, this is a button check right now, so
Yep.
nothing too crazy. Just the players probably warming up a bit. I know when I do a button check, it's not really to check my buttons. I usually do that before a tournament, but it's usually to get my hands warmed up. Maybe do something like because I'm a Terry player myself. I'll do Kazuya as my button check so that I can make sure that my timings are good, so I can Electric Wind God Fist, which has generally the same inputs as Power Dunk, but a bit more tight.
Yep. Well, it looks like, all right, we're down 1-1. Let's see who's going to survive. Who's going to win the button check? Oh, and it's Niagara by a hair. Well done from Ike. And that button check. Way to stay alive, honestly. But
yeah, really, really holding in there.
So now I think the button check, if I am not mistaken, is complete unless they need to redo a few things. But as far as I know, I think they're all set. So we'll be going into this match pretty shortly. Now, unless you guys have been living in a Smash Bros. Hole, there was a new character that dropped yesterday that a lot of people have been playing. And we'll talk about it in a second.
Oh, okay. So apparently Sora is banned for a week, probably due to the patch just coming out, and because this is an online league, that means that we are actually for the sake of a lot of tournaments in general don't really allow for like the patch if it's too recent. But enough about the patch. Let's get into the match here. And it looks like Crispy has actually managed to take a very small lead, but this is very easy to turn around.
Exactly. Fox is really, really fast, really, really speedy, but you're going up against Ike, who's a very, very heavy hitter. He carries a big stick, but it doesn't matter for LAX as he does the little up special, or excuse me, up smash to take away that first stock. But it looks like Crispy's trying to find an answer.
Oh wow, that was a fantastic intercept right there of Crispy's forward smash. LAX definitely confident to be able to do that, because I know if I see an Ike forward smash, I'm just shielding that. So that's quite some courage.
Exactly, and just like that, Crispy already has more damage than LAX. And it's just what we're seeing from LAX. He's just moving way, way, way faster than Ike right now, and that's going to be another stock. Crispy's just having a difficult time trying to land a hit on Fox, so it's just being a heavy character, being kind of slow. It's definitely harder to hit one of those lighter, very faster characters.
Absolutely, and one of the big things is that because Crispy is sort of at a bit of a higher percent, it's a bit harder for because LAX is a bit of a higher percent, it's harder for Crispy to land those neutral air combos, because now they'll knock back a little bit too far to really get like a kill confirm going. Oh, and that's an issue that I've seen a lot this game. Crispy's been going for that dash attack, and it's just been hitting shield over and over, and it's a very punishable move. Oh my.
Speaking of being punished.
Wow, a 3 stock to start the set off, and that puts another 3 points on the board already for Siena. And if there's another 3 stock, that'll be a huge lead, 13-0 if that happens. Right now it's just 8-0, but still that's a very solid lead to get in the first first 3 games.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty difficult for what's his name, for Niagara, Crispy to try to bounce back right here. Definitely needs it, but from what we saw, Fox was just moving way too fast, as we said it from time and time again. And then also just the up moves that he's been using. We saw a little bit right here, not the stock confirmed, but right here, just juggling with the up air. Fox has some pretty good aerial attacks to use, especially the neutral air, where all he does is just kick and you can't find a way past his kicks. So yeah, definitely if you are Crispy, if you're gonna stick with Ike, you just gotta figure out a way to limit Fox's moves and just be aware of his speed, because he can zip around you pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that I saw Crispy could probably fix for this next game is maybe not commit so hard. Like, there were a lot of times where they used very high committal options, like a dash attack on the shield, which dash attack can definitely kill, but its risk reward is it's a very high risk, because if it gets blocked, you are just receiving a huge punishment. And in addition, we saw that air dodge very high up, and you don't want to air dodge that high, especially when they haven't even gone to chase you yet, because that means that you are out of options. You will just take their next attack, and because of that, we actually did get to see LAX just go for a forward smash that was charged to end the game right there.
Exactly. And right now the stage selection is going to be PS2, chosen by Niagara. So it was Yoshi's Battlefield and Smashville once again from Siena being banned, and then yep, I think it was just I think those were actually, I believe PS2 might be the ban. It's either the stage or the ban, not quite sure. I'd assume it's the stage, because how can you ban PS2?
Yeah, no, they're going to PS2.
Yeah.
And because of that, that does mean that this is a stage that generally people see as a bit more even, and the platform's height actually does allow for Ike to get some pretty good conversions. You know, one of the big key things that we didn't get to see that last game from Crispy, probably didn't have any opportunity to really get it going, is Ike's neutral air is a huge move. That is like a huge part of the character. Eventually it did get patched to be a bit not as good, but other moves made better. So, you know, it was a bit more diverse of a game plan, but still, this is like a huge part of what to expect when playing against Ike.
Exactly, and already we're seeing LAX going on the offense. We saw a couple times Crispy try to get some moves out of it, but LAX is just too quick to get behind and then able to unleash some combos. There's that up air again from Fox. So lethal. Such a great juggling move too.
And oh, there's that dash attack again, and exactly what we were talking about in between games as well. Crispy getting a huge, punished very hard for going for those very high committal options every single time you dash attack their shield, and since it's kind of a very telegraphed move. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
That's way too unfortunate.
Oh, and that was another dash attack too. This is a very good opportunity for LAX to just, in general, get some stuff going. Ugh.
If LAX landed that one aerial attack with the multiple kicks, that would have been a quick game, a quick 3-stock.
I mean, this is already looking like momentum for one.
Yep. Oh my goodness. It's just all LAX is doing is throwing hands and legs.
And I've been seeing Crispy go for a lot more up smashes as well, which is also a very high committal option, to say the least. And that's been leading to a lot of damage that Crispy should not have been taking.
Just the leg uppercut. That's what we would, or the upper kick, whatever. It's not a Smash term. It's a South Beach term in my book that I'm trying to make up on the spot.
I like to call it a little bicycle kick or a somersault kick.
That's what it actually is. Hey, 13-0 Siena, and just LAX dominating that entire set. Just really, to me, I don't know about UPB, but speed was the main advantage for LAX.
Oh, absolutely. So Fox's speed just really allowed him to control this entire matchup. And because of that and the unfortunate SD right there on the second stock from Crispy, LAX was able to take control of the momentum of this game. And also, in addition, Crispy was just. It felt like Crispy was getting very rattled and baited very hard. Like right there when he was charging the forward smash, and LAX did a fast fall from a full hop on the platform, which, but then right as Crispy released the forward smash to get it to start, LAX then jumped, which then allowed for a perfect punish there, and that was the punish that closed the game. And in general, a lot of the story of that entire set was that Crispy was playing very committal, which like sometimes committing can be very good, but you have to really before you start getting to that very high committal playstyle, you have to really have a good understanding of your opponent and where
Yes.
they'll be, what they'll use.
Exactly. And it looks like Niagara is going to bring in Red Saw while Siena is bringing in Waffle. Now, I don't know who Red Saw. Actually, yes, I do. Red Saw, he is a Bowser main. So we're definitely going to see a really heavy character in this match. Wow, let me look at who Waffle mains. Waffle, he okay. Waffle's main is Sonic, so that will be that's gonna be a fun matchup. The heaviest character versus one of the lighter characters, but it's the heaviest versus the fastest. That's
Hmm.
basically what it is.
Yes. And in general, these two characters have very different playstyles. So Bowser is definitely a grappler style character. Grapplers, they're characters that focus on less the technical gameplay and more of the mental game, where they want to inflict fear into your opponent because they have a lot of those moves that really do a lot of damage, can really kill very early. And because of that, it really gets your opponent to be scared very quickly. But Sonic, on the other hand, is a character that sort of wants to frustrate the opponent by getting in very quickly, getting back out very quickly. You know, a bit of a like a hit and run
Hit and
style.
run guy. Yep,
Yep. And
indeed.
because
And
of
it
that, it's like a very interesting matchup to see which one really gets to inflict their intended mindset on the other first.
exactly. It's probably gonna be a lot of battle of patience
Mm-hmm.
between these two characters. Now, Bowser has a crud ton of kill power behind him, especially going up against a really light character like Sonic. So if he gets the edge in this matchup, this could really go in the way for Niagara University. However, we saw both speed win in the Falco match and the Fox match, especially the Fox match. So definitely going to be so a trend for Siena is really just all the speed characters they've been using, and that's pretty much all I've been focusing on in this match is the speed between these matches.
Yes, speed is a very important thing. You know, not only for just being able to like move quick, because moving quick is fun in general, but speed is very good for your maneuverability because it really makes it harder for your opponent to really get a good idea of how you're going to approach. And because Sonic's so fast as well, it's a lot of character speed is good for the purpose of maneuverability. Sonic's, it's so good, like his speed is so good that it becomes unreactable at points, especially online. There's like about half the stage in terms of range before the opponent is actually able to react to some of Sonic's moves, which is definitely something to consider in this matchup.
Exactly. And before the match starts, just a heads up, there's going to be another button check between these two colleges right here. So as soon here it comes right here. Yep, and it is going to indeed be Sonic and Bowser. Oh man. Yep, it looks like they're so far it looks like their controllers are working well.
And
Bowser
it
doing
looks
some
like
dances.
oh, uh, looks like Sonic players probably just getting a few basic things ready, you know, warming up some movements that you definitely want to be doing a lot of when you're a Sonic player.
Mhm. And here's the matchup we all wanted to see who's gonna die first in this legendary button check. And it's gonna be Sonic. Niagara wins 2 button checks in a row. They gotta be feeling good about their button checks right now. I'll tell you what, ladies
Absolutely.
and gentlemen. Too
The
good.
undefeated button checks.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, Siena challenged them to the button check.
Oh.
So to see Niagara accept the challenge and just last a little bit longer, my hats are off to them. But enough of that. So as soon it looks like the arena's set, it is indeed. So let's jump right into this, as they say.
For sure. And one interesting thing about the stage that was picked is that Final Destination is one of Sonic's better stages because it gives good room to run around, and it's very flat, so it's very hard for the opponent to have like maybe a bit more dynamic positioning. But also, in addition, this is one of Bowser's worst stages because you need platforms to kill very early with the side B. And that's very difficult in this.
Exactly. But so far, what we're seeing from Bowser is he's got a lot of counters. We see the up B counteract Sonic spin dash move, and then we also see just how Bowser's able to retaliate. Now the real answer is that side air combo that Sonic does, and okay, it looks like Red Saw is going to take the lead first for Niagara, and this is going to be a problem for Sonic. That's a really heavy character, and you need to get a lot of percent on Red Saw in order to, be able to take away a really good stock. Red Saw just needs a good 5 or 6 really good hits, and then you're done.
For sure. And another thing to consider right there, we saw Bowser armor through Sonic's spin dash, and that's because Bowser has what's called Tough Guy, where if an attack does not do enough knockback, then Bowser will just armor through the individual hits, which is huge because that allows for just so many good punishes that normally are not possible.
Exactly. And now we're just seeing Waffle trying to just throw Bowser off the stage. Here he goes again. That's all it is, battle of attrition. The trampoline, that's gonna probably help with a good ledge guard, but it looks like Red Saw survives for a 4th time, and there was a move that usually works, and now it does.
Okay. Yeah, off stage, forward air is definitely killing, especially at that percent, but that's just speaking to how heavy Bowser is.
Exactly. He is one thick boy. You really cannot kill him with as much as he can. It's really hard to do it with a light character like Sonic. This was dangerous. That was a dangerous move.
Absolutely, and a very big thing in this matchup as well is in order to get a lot of those hits that we're seeing Red Saw get, it's actually because a lot of Sonic stuff is unreactable online. That means that Red Saw is just hard reading what Waffle is trying to do.
But he's definitely up to the challenge so far, especially getting that last stock right there. And now Niagara is pretty close to getting their first win of this series.
I wouldn't speak quite so soon because it does look like Waffle could get a comeback here.
Oh my
wow.
goodness. That almost was bad for Waffle. Probably wouldn't quite kill him, but indeed, good homing attack. Able to come clutch again. Just too heavy.
Yeah, this is just, oh my, and it didn't connect. Okay, but
there we go.
That did. Ooh.
That did indeed. Sonic's back air. That's not a back air you want to mess around with. We always focus on the forward air attack because that's what we see a lot of times. It's such an easy combo to execute when you're Sonic. But that back air has some kill power under it.
Absolutely. Back airs in general do, and wow, look at that. Waffle has managed to make a fantastic comeback here. It was looking very grim at the start, but now it looks commanding from Waffle here.
Exactly. This is always an exciting matchup to see the heaviest versus the lightest. And if you're a master at your character, I'm not gonna count out either of these players yet. Oh my goodness, great block on the edge. Oh. Missed down smash. Up. Oh, the up just did not connect. I would have gone for the forward smash right there.
Oh,
hey,
wow.
What did I just
go?
Woo! I think
you go.
I might be coaching this guy, but I don't mean to. So, well done from Waffle playing from behind. And just an incredible match when it looked like Niagara was so close to getting their first win of the series. Waffles said, hold on, let me cook you a batch of Sonic waffles right here. And he takes a 14-0 lead over Niagara. And Siena looks like they're going to be pretty close to making it impossible for Niagara to come back from this.
For sure. And a very big thing to consider about the end of that match is that it looked like Waffle just sort of had a great understanding of how Red Saw liked to play. You know, what Red Saw liked to put to just deal with Sonic's unreactable moves. And because of that, that meant that Waffle was actually able to, you know, get the reads of what Red Saw's reads were. So, like, reading the reads, an entirely different, like, scale of mental game there.
Yeah, and we kind of saw a little bit of the stage kind of working against Red Saw a little bit, as you mentioned. The stage definitely favors Sonic more and Bowser less. You know, I think he definitely those platform stages for Bowser really would have helped him. They just didn't help him here. But really, it looked like, you know, at times all Bowser had to do was just hit as hard as he could and he was just fine. Like, that's all you could do if you're working with a stage that doesn't work with you at all. But it looks like this next stage is going to work with Bowser a little bit more because it's PS2.
Absolutely. And so I think it's very smart. I'm just taking a look right now at what the bans were. In general, against Bowser, you want to ban... Oh, okay. Oh, wait, yes. So you want to ban Yoshi's Story because Yoshi's Story it has a very tall platform and a very short ceiling, which is perfect for Bowser's side B. You want to ban Battlefield because it has that exact same platform layout. Smashville, I'm a bit interested in. Usually when you see 3 bans, it's those 2 and then Lilat. But I guess they're just confident that Red Saw is not very comfortable on Lilat.
I think really I wonder if Siena's just wanting a really exciting game and really just putting Waffle to the test to see how he can do in this matchup. And so far, already 76% damage, 97, and a kill against Bowser. I guess the ledges in PS2, or like the space on the outside, a little bit shorter because usually if you're a light character like Sonic going against a heavy, 97% is not going to be enough, but it was there.
For sure. A combination of that being a charged forward smash, well, a little bit charged, but also, yes, you are correct. PS2 does have a bit on the shorter side, not quite Town and City level with short sides, but it's definitely considerable.
Exactly, and now Waffle's sitting with 117. Bowser already was 74. Little bit shield. Sonic grabs first.
This is the game Sonic wants to play. With a huge lead, that means that Sonic can sort of just afford to run away as much as they want, especially with the 2-stock lead.
Exactly. It looks like Waffle's winning the battle of the mentals here, especially getting that back air 2-stock lead. You know, he looks like he's just dishing out damage as fast as possible. That speed, once again, how many times have we mentioned it? How many more times are we going to mention it? Has been a huge, huge factor for Siena College. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. They were going for clip of the year right there.
Yep. Got to work hard a little bit right there. That's going to be hard to recover.
Oh,
especially if you're doing the back air.
Wow. Okay, so what we talked about in between games there was came to play right there, where Waffle at the end of game 1 got a very fantastic understanding of how his opponent was playing. Because of that, Waffle was able to just read Red Saw so hard, so often, like not only in how they recover, but how they land, how they try and intercept attacks from Sonic. And because of that, we saw a 3-stock. That's usually a sign that, like, if you see a 3-stock, it's usually a very good sign that the player that is doing the 3-stock has not only, like, very high skill, but also, in general, a very good understanding of the opponent.
Indeed, and with that, Siena is going to take a 19-0 lead over Niagara, which I believe, if our math is correct, virtually impossible for Niagara to come back from.
Yes, it is impossible for Niagara to make a comeback here because the most you can get per set is 8 points. So because of that, and because there are 2 sets left, that means that there's only 16 points left for any team to get. And because of that, that means that the best Niagara can do is 16 to 19, which is just not enough.
Exactly. And right now, coming up next for Siena is Pango, the Steve or Pokemon trainer main, going up against Crisis, who is a Min main. So we don't see a lot of Min mains. Min mains. That's really fun to say. You should try it.
Min
Min. Gotta say it as fast as possible.
main.
There you go. So definitely a great, interesting matchup depending on who Min's gonna go up against, either Steve or Pokemon Trainer. Obviously, the first thing you think of when you think of Min is range.
Yes, absolutely. This character is one that can dominates the stage, has a fantastic presence in general, and has some really good ledge trapping. The Megawatt is a huge thing to consider because that's a really good arm for Min, and not only is it very active because it's a very slow arm, but it's also one that just kills very early and does so much shield damage that you might accidentally just have your shield popped and just eat a stock right there.
Exactly, and that's something you don't want to do, but Min makes it just way too hard. Niagara's gonna get the ban first. In terms of stage-wise, almost anything works for Min, I would assume. I can't really think of a stage that Min doesn't really work well. I guess anything with platforms if you're trying to just dodge those basic punches, but even then, it's still kind of hard.
Yeah, in general, you want to, from what I remember, you want to take Min to Lilat. But that's a counterpick stage, so you can't take them to Lilat game 1. Min actually really likes Pokemon Stadium 2. That's a stage that you do not want to take that character to.
Yeah.
Because it's got platforms in the perfect ways that means that Min can either stay on the ground and do those arms, or jump up onto the platform and then cover the other options. And that makes it very hard to approach.
Exactly. The first stage was banned was Town and City. That was from Niagara. The next stages banned from Siena were Smashville and PS2. So just as you mentioned, you want to ban PS2 so Min doesn't, give you an easy 3-stock right there. So it might be, I'm not sure. We will get another button check, I assume, though. That's all I can say.
I would not be surprised.
From our inside scoop of the Discord chat. But we might see Lilat first if the stage definitely, favors against Min. But still, kind of a mystery. It looks like Niagara's trying to still make a decision on which stage to pick from.
For sure, and it is a very difficult time picking stages against Min because in general, none of them feel great when playing against the character. Min's a very strong character, to say the least.
Indeed. Got a lot of hit power. Do you think the Hollow Bastion is too early to pick? I know Sora's been, but who knows?
Not legal yet, but I would not be surprised if it becomes legal in the future. Especially because there's been a lot of talks of doing Hazards On as the potential legal stage list. And Hollow Bastion would allow for something similar to Hazards Off Smashville, while then also allowing for Hazards On Smashville.
Indeed. And here is the stage. It's going to be Final Destination. Just a little bit of button check. A lot of, trying to make sure you can place your blocks well in Minecraft. Try to build your house of dirt.
I want Crisis to make an L with the blocks.
Oh man,
please.
What a statement. L, if you could hear us, We want to see your Minecraft artistry.
Yes,
As
I want
much
to
as
see your
possible.
architecture.
Yes, we would love that. And once again, Niagara, 3 in a row in the button check.
Oh, sorry, it's Pango is the Steve. My bad.
Ah.
Because Crisis is the Niagara University player.
Yeah, Crisis is Min Min and Pango
Yes.
is Steve, just to be
Yes.
clear. But once again, Niagara with those button check wins. Siena can't catch a break against those button checks. They really know how to outlive the button checks. You know what I mean? But right now, so it looks like it is going to be Final Destination, Min Min versus Steve. It's definitely, if you're Steve he's Steve instead of Pokemon Trainer. So in terms of stopping, in terms of getting in Min Min's way, those block placements definitely might help.
Yes, they actually could be very helpful, especially with approaching against Min Min and just sort of setting up the sort of like walls. Very helpful. And because Steve is one of those very heavy combo characters with very simple combos as well, it's definitely possible that we could just see a complete blow up here if they can get in even once.
Yeah. And right now, oh my goodness, that was almost 2 spikes in a row. Not quite able to happen, but Steve gonna bring out the stone equipment. Almost got a stock, but he's gonna do it right here. Nope.
Almost, but like this is definitely dominance from Pango right now, which is very scary. Steve is one of those characters that has a lot of very good options. Oh my.
I honestly never seen that using the wings from, I know what they're called, from the end, but using those wings in order to just get close to your enemy really, really quick after the minecart, that's a great combination. I can't believe I've never seen that before.
Steve has fantastic movement options, and in addition to that, Steve also has that minecart, which is unreactable online for the most part, and it's also a tick throw. So tick throws being things where it does just enough hit stun on the block, or just enough block stun that then it actually allows you to then grab right after.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and he's not really being careful with those TNT block placements. Both TNTs were placed and both really gave him a lot of damage. Oh my goodness, you can't recover.
That's a stock.
You
Yeah,
can't recover.
That's one of Min Min's bigger weaknesses. If you can just edge guard even once, just maybe even a forward air, just something to move Min Min to the side, that is already like almost a complete edge guard for Min Min.
Exactly, and I think Steve, ledge guarding wise, is probably one of the best characters. I don't know how you think.
This
but
character's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got the blocks, you got the minecart where you can't leave. Like, what does this guy not have?
Only thing he doesn't have is a gun.
That's true. Unless you get a Minecraft mod, and then you'll be good. Right.
In addition to fantastic edge guarding, by the way, Steve also does have really good ledge trapping and just good trapping in general. Just making it hard for your opponent to move is a very strong tool to have.
Exactly. That's definitely a hard tool to get away from as well. And it looks like trying to go for the spike doesn't quite get there on time. Just gonna juggle a little bit, place a little stone. Now, looks like Crisis is facing a little bit of a crisis as gets hit by the minecart to the face. And Pango once again for Siena. Siena takes just an even bigger lead.
Wow, that was destruction right there. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was an example of how strong Steve can be and exactly what weaknesses Min Min has.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, the first thing you think of right now is that recovery and the strength of the ledge guard from Steve. That's like the first thing that stuck out to me with those two characters battling it out. But right now, I don't know if Min Min's going to be the answer against Steve going up next. So I don't know if Crisis has a second character to go against Steve, but for the most part, it looks like it might just be Min Min.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. if they just stick with Min Min. A lot of Min Min players actually, well, there are quite a few Min Min players that actually played like someone different before Min Min, and I know that like DeBuzz, for example, pretty prominent player in terms of like Min Min representation. Plays Rosalina, played Olimar. So we could see a character switch. It is possible, but I would not be surprised if they stuck with the Min Min just out of familiarity.
Yep, Min Min is the only recruited option in our official EGFC Season 3 notes, but for the most part, we have Corrin. Okay.
Okay, so Pango went random.
And Crisis is going as Steve?
I'm a little Oh, no. Okay, so...
Yes.
Yes, so Crisis went random. Pango is still going Steve. And we saw Corrin, which is the exact character we were talking about, which, especially because that was the random pick, is especially funny.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Corrin's gonna go against Steve. Maybe that works with the TNT, using it against him, and also trying to see that up air from Corrin. Definitely a lot of similar... That's a pretty lethal up air. We see similar ones from, for example,
Oh my
goodness. But what are you going to do against the ledge guard? That's the real question.
Absolutely. And, I mean, what are you going to do, especially when it's a character you're not familiar with? Because you're going random. At this point, it might be that Niagara is just sort of, or at least Crisis might have just given up at trying to get more points.
Yep,
because
trying to... Yeah, and we saw that blast almost went through, just not quite yet. But Pango was able to just get below it quickly before losing his stock. And once again, the crisis continues for Crisis.
Oh wow, this is just running a clinic on the Crisis right now. Oh.
Didn't
honestly,
have to do him like that.
Might be the call to just go for the
Okay.
Not for the diamond. At least Crisis took a stock, which means that like if they can get another, then the random call was actually good, and maybe they can consider playing Corrin. You know, if you're able to do this off of random, I think it's worth considering just maining the character.
Yeah, I think we need more Corrin main in the world.
We do.
But really, and another fact about Niagara University, they have not won a single game yet. So week 1 they lost to Marist 31-0, and then week 2 they lost to Iona 33-0. So they are still not just searching for their first win in the official series, but just in one game, and that's not going to happen as Pango just delivers once again. So the streak continues.
Wow, that is... Whew. I did not know that Niagara has not won a game in this league yet.
That was from, according to my stat sheets, I believe that is correct. But yeah, still the zeros keep reigning for Niagara, but they have one game. See if they can finally end that long streak.
For sure. I mean, this is definitely an opportunity here for Niagara to at least get something on the board. We do... I actually don't know what the last player would be. We've already seen Bashi Koopa. Okay. Jenny EXC as the last player for Niagara. Do you have any information on who Jenny EXC plays?
Let me pull it up real quick. It looks like also looks like Jenny XE is also a Corrin main as well. So we might be seeing 2 Corrins back to back, which interesting enough. I mean, it looked from what we saw probably a better choice than Min Min, but not much, especially after that lethal edge trap. But you know, Corrin's got some pretty solid options. notice how I said that. I don't play as Corrin a lot, but we have some better picks these days. But if you know how to play as Corrin, you can do really, really good. Also against who you're up against as well. That's
Yes.
just one of those characters.
Yes. Corrin's one of those characters that I think is underrated in general. Like,
Hmm.
the character should not be less represented than Little Mac and Ganondorf in top level play.
I
But
have
the
to
character
agree.
is.
I have to agree with that. It's very, very, very frustrating to see, Lil Matt get all that screen time. But anyway, Knight is up for Siena. Knight is the Shulk and the Pyramithra combo.
Ooh, okay. So a very big Xenoblade fan, it seems. I do know that one of the top 50 players in my region, MDBA, El Shudo, he started as a Shulk player, and then when Pyre and Mithra came out, he was like, oh, I really want to play them. He ended up playing Captain Falcon.
Yeah. I mean, Captain Falcon's pretty good. That was one of my characters in Brawl, but I mean in Ultimate, Captain Falcon's pretty good. But yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of Pyramithra mains
Yes.
around these days. So definitely going to be interesting how we're going to see Pyramithra working here. If indeed we see them, we might see Shulk first. But also, as soon as the weeks roll by and we'll see some Sora mains maybe coming up
I
next,
hope so.
because I don't know if you played them, but I like them.
I like how Sora just plays in general. A lot of those, a lot of target combos. Very easy combos to land. But you can also cancel those very easy combos into a lot harder ones that can get you a bit higher reward, but are a lot higher of a skill ceiling. And because of that, I really like that idea of a character that's it's very easy to pick up, but there's so much potential to grow as a Sora player, which he's pretty cool.
Exactly. I think you'd have to play a little bit different than the typical Smash character to play with Sora, but very, very good character. Also, don't know if you knew this about Sora, but if you play in a stamina battle, if you win a Sora, you get the Kingdom
Yes.
Hearts style.
I saw that on the presentation. It's like that whoosh,
Mm-hmm.
where the camera moves like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that ringing sound effect. I'm not gonna make that because it will just sound like a lot of gargling in the mic. But and believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting another button check coming up. So good time to see our stage and our characters kind of preview what they have. Looks like the stage is going to be Smashville this time. So
Okay.
is this our first time seeing Smashville, or am I mistaken?
It is. It is.
Gotcha. And it's going to be Shulk and Corrin.
Yes. Shulk, definitely a very good character. Maybe not as good as people initially thought, or maybe not as optimized as people thought. That's always up for debate. This is a character that, people go, oh, this is a sleeper top tier. And some people go, no, they're not that good. And I think it's somewhere in between.
Honestly, I would say this about everybody. Just depends on the player, really, how you use your style. And it looks like it's about to be another sweep for Niagara to win this button check. But Siena's holding on just a little bit longer, and it's not gonna happen. If you like our button check matches, please leave a comment so we can get more of these, because those are the best.
For sure.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So now, after we got that stunning button check, how do you think Niagara feels after winning 4 button checks in a row?
I bet they feel fantastic. I bet if we ask, hey, where are you going? They're going, I'm going to...
Exactly. Already, I mean, if you not counting the losses they had, that's probably their first wins of the season.
For sure. And it does look like this does allow for Shulk to, control the stage, especially because Shulk has such huge range, and with the speed art able to, control the pace of the game. Wow, that is so much damage already thanks to that Buster art. because Buster Art, you don't get great knockback, but I mean, that's what Smash Art is for.
He only took 3% damage.
Yes, and that was at
Near
the very
4.
start of the game.
And that first stock took about 25 to 30 seconds.
Ooh.
Actually, less than 25 seconds. My goodness.
Ooh, okay, so does look like Jenny's, you know, not letting Knight take too much of a lead. You know, don't want to let them just completely dominate, but you know that's why you gotta always just think, okay, how are they gonna move? How are they gonna How are they going to just play in general?
Mm-hmm. And something about Shulk, we're seeing this a lot. His air game may not be the best, but his air game hits hard, honestly. If you get hit by that sword in the air, you're going to take a lot of damage.
Absolutely. This is two characters that have a lot of range, which means that edge guards could be very cool. My.
Or they can look like that.
Yeah. Oof. And this is such a huge lead. This is... Oh my goodness. Oh. And that's the grab again. I think it just looks like Knight is trying to just end this with an edge guard.
Maybe trying to get a play of the game, trying to get a spike maybe.
That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
yep. I almost thought he was going to mess up on that recovery because getting caught under the stage, able to just survive a little bit and eventually get that recovery. Knight just gets another 3 stock for Siena. Siena just capping off all these 3 stocks like crazy.
I think that it looks like Siena's trying to hit a record here. What's the record again for the highest points hit in a match?
Ooh, beats me. 35?
Okay, so they can't
Maybe?
quite hit the record. The highest they could hit here is 33. And I mean, with how that game went, I would not be surprised if the next game goes the same way, just off of how dominant it was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so far from this season, Iona the most for this season with 33 for Iona College. Guess who that was up against? It was against Niagara University. So they're getting a little bit of a beating, and then also 31. Maris got 31, also against Niagara. So yeah, if you're going against Niagara, it looks like you're putting up all these points. It looks like you're just allowing so many points being tacked on right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Especially because I think one of their better players, Fiction, graduated this past year. So that does mean that one of their strongest assets is no more for this team.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Siena can tie the record of Iona College with 33, but they need a 3 stock to get that.
I mean, we just saw a 3 stock.
We did, so it's definitely not out of the question. But Niagara, you know, they don't want to get that repeated once again, so they're going to try to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's pretty possible for Siena, and it looks like the stage is going to be PS2.
All right. And that's a stage that generally, you know, you want to go to if you think, okay, I can equally skill them, like I can match their skill. Or if you wanted to bring it to a situation where it's like, okay, this is very even right now.
Indeed. So it looks like we're getting... Actually, no, PS2 is the stage. I thought it was the band for a second. I'm always confusing bands and picks. That's always... You never want to do that as a caster. You could get chopped.
For sure. But maybe if Jenny EXE has another character, they might want to switch because in that game it was looking like Jenny EXE was just sort of being outdone in every regard. So maybe play a different... Okay, never mind.
Maybe, but maybe Jenny EXE wants to really hone their skills as Corin, because we've now actually, cool thing is, I think we've seen 2 or 3 Corins already in just this first series. So starting,
yeah, that's true.
if we're gonna start the movement of getting more Corin players out there, it starts here in the EGFC.
For sure. That's the small steps to getting this character to be more popular.
Yes, indeed. And it might start with us trying to main Corin. I can definitely tell you I'm not going to.
I'm not going to be maining Corin.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm a Terry player for life.
Heck yeah. Maybe our producer Aeon will main Corin. I know Aeon knows their way around a controller.
That's true. Aeon has taken a game off of, or a set actually off of Mars with Little Mac.
Oh man. Against Little Mac out of all people.
With Little Mac against a world-class player. It's
yes, indeed. So, yeah.
But into the match right now, it looks like Knight actually not quite as much of a lead as last game. You know, it looks like Jenny has taken a bit better of a approach this time, getting a bit more damage in, possibly able to take a stock actually this game, especially because this is around the same amount of percent that Jenny was able to deal in the full game last time. And this is only on the first stock.
But oh my goodness. There's about to be a stock taken. Looks like just didn't get the recovery right there. And now the speed from Knight coming in real quickly.
And it does look like Jenny EXE actually did some kind of advanced tech there with the Phantom Footstool. I'm a bit surprised.
Indeed. It's the little things that really help you win these games. However, Knight, since that first stock, has not taken any damage yet, except right now. Caster's Curse, owe me $1. And then now we get a little bit of a jump going on here, but really able to survive all these hits from Corin, not being able to get an approach. And I believe if I'm Knight, I want to survive, try to get that 1-3 stock once again and try to tie that record.
For sure, because it's not just about the actual set count, it's also about the point count, because that actually matters in your seeding for the final, like for the end of the season conference.
Exactly. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Siena's wins right now. They beat Canisius College 22-3. And then looks like they beat, I believe, what was it, Georgetown? It was not Georgetown. It was actually Rider University 10-0, which still trying to figure out the 10-0 points right there.
I think it might have been a DQ or because I do know that some schools like University of Connecticut do tend to DQ because they don't have enough players.
I see. But it looks like Ryder had some points on there, but then disqualified. So it might have been a 10-6.
Oh, okay. I think I know what that's from. I think that's from what's it called? From a lag check and then failing.
Ah.
Because I know that the points you get from winning a lag test is 10 for the it's 10 and then the other team is disqualified.
You know, and that might be the reason why Siena is asking button checks to make sure Niagara has all the and it looks like it looks like Siena is not going to be tying that record down to 2 stocks. But yeah, it makes sense if you're winning a button check, especially going through fail lag in that last time. But Siena's just gonna close this out right here, ending with 32 over Niagara's goose egg right here. So the loss streak continues for Niagara, but Siena's making a statement today.
For sure. And I mean, they didn't tie for the record, but they got right in between. So it's 31, 32, 33 in terms of scores against Niagara.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And really just overall, it was, just all the speed characters from the beginning. And then we started to slow it down a little bit into neutral with, Steve and then Shulk. They're kind of, I assume I would qualify them as neutral characters, but especially although Shulk's got the magic arts and everything. But right now, GG's all around for Niagara and Siena as they move on to week 4.
Yeah, that was a fantastic showing from pretty much all of Siena. We saw not only fantastic gameplay, but also fantastic adaptation from a lot of their players. And honestly, that's more important than having good game 1 gameplay. Just having really good adaptation, because that means you can really just change up what you need very quickly, which is very good in a tournament environment too.
Exactly. You know, the famous sports saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Siena started out strong, but they finished out even stronger. So,
For sure.
definitely well done for Siena. Looks like they play next week. Obviously, all schools play next week. They're going to play... where is week 4? Until I say the word. They will be playing Manhattan College next week. So that will be a pretty interesting matchup for them. We are going to take a quick break, just get an interview for Siena College real quick. But also stick around. We'll have another match up next, and it looks like it's going to be Iona and Manhattan coming up next after this interview.
All right. So see you then.
All right, and we are back, and we are joined by Pango, the famous Steve player of Siena. Pango, thanks for being here with us.
Problem. Love to be here.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so definitely a great statement win. Were you guys trying to get the 33 points, trying to break that record of this season of most points?
We didn't really think about it until the end, and then I looked at it. I saw 33-0 was the highest, so I knew we couldn't pass it, even if we got a double 3 stock. But we definitely wanted to try and match the record, but fell a little short. But overall, in the standings, 32-0 versus 33-0 isn't really the biggest problem for us. So we'll take whatever we can get.
Awesome. Yeah, obviously just piling up points as much as you get. I mean, the most important thing is the dub. So you were playing as Steve, and definitely Steve's just got a whole arsenal just behind him. But really, what like interests you most into Minecraft Steve and making him your main?
I've been playing Steve pretty much since the day he came out. He was one of my most anticipated characters to go in Smash. So once he was announced, I knew I was just gonna pretty much drop everything and go to Steve. I'm a big fan of Minecraft. Played it a lot when I was a kid, so I knew it was definitely gonna be something I wanted to put myself in or time into. And once I really saw all the potential that he had and all the stupid combos, minecart shenanigans, just 0 to 60 combos, I just realized that I was just gonna commit all my time into this character and try and be the best that I could be.
Yeah,
Indeed.
that makes perfect sense. Because I mean, sometimes that just happens. You see a character that just clicks with you, and you're like, "All right, I know who I'm playing for the rest of this game."
Yeah, also one thing is this is an online setting, so you got to take that into an account with your character choice. I used to play Pokemon Trainer before Steve, and I struggled playing him online because just the input delay was
Hmm.
just too obnoxious for playing characters like Squirtle. But playing Steve online, it's definitely a little more challenging than offline, but you can get away with a lot more just pressing buttons, using minecart, and it's pretty much just as effective as offline.
That's true. Minecart actually a bit unreactable online, so always a good thing to have, to say the least. But what was your team's approach for this match? Like, what did you enter the match thinking? Like, what was the mindset?
Well, we've seen the past results. We've seen that Niagara has not won a single game all season. So we weren't really stressing too hard. We knew who they were playing. We knew they had a lot of Bowsers. So used to have a Bowser on the team. So we all are pretty experienced in that matchup. So we weren't really putting too much time and effort into it. We were just putting our guys in and see how they do, and they all performed pretty much exactly to our expectations.
All
Indeed.
right.
Yeah, and definitely a great approach right there. We're gonna let you go, but real quick, do you have any shout outs you would like to give?
I got to shout out my boy Chimmy on the Maris team, fellow Steve main. Do a lot of practice together, so shout outs to him. Shout out any of the Siena boys if they're watching from home, watching from their dorms. Thank you for tuning in, giving us support, and that's about it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Pango, thank you for being with us, and good luck next week.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.
Awesome.
See ya.
And with that, we're gonna bring you to a break as we take on, or excuse me, we're not gonna go up against them, but we're gonna bring on Iona College and Manhattan College
Ooh.
coming up next, so you don't want to miss it.
All right. See you then.